Welcome to RPV City Talk on the Road. I am Liz Brown Swanson with the great mayor of Rancho, Palos, Verdes, Mayor Dave Bradley. And I'm sad to say, Mayor Bradley, this is our last show together as mayor with you for 2022. It is our official year in review, and we have lots to talk about from right here at Del Cerro Park, one of the most popular parks in the city. So
yes, it is.
A perfect setting to sort of wrap things up because this park is busy. You've been incredibly busy. But I want to start off with a congratulations for your re-election to our city council. We are so grateful to have you.
Thank you very much.
Bring us back to election night, what that was like for you.
You know, being reelected as a local boy once again was really satisfying, and I'm humbled that once again I was elected to 4 more years on city council. I do love this city, I love the peninsula, and this is just a small way for me to try to give back to the community.
Well, glad you want to stick with us. You've done a lot. And I also wanted to shout out a congratulations to Mayor Pro Tem Barbara Ferraro on her re-election, as well as our newcomer, Paul Seo,
Correct.
who will be joining you on the council. And he, of course, is not new to our city. He's been on the Civic Center Advisory Committee.
He's the deputy chair of the Civic Center Advisory Committee right now, which is just a testament of how strong our committees and commissions are, where they tend to get sucked up into higher office.
That's exactly what happened to you, right? You were planning commissioner, and so get involved too is the message, right?
Oh, absolutely.
We need people to be involved. You're all volunteers, so thank you for all you do. Let's just reflect back on 2022, some of your top mayoral moments that you want to share with the community that you'll think of when you look back on your term here as mayor this year.
Absolutely. So, one of the things is it's kind of apropos the weather today. So this is kind of the winter of the year, and it once again looks like winter up here at Del Cerro Park. A beautiful spot. The view may not be quite as good as it usually is, but once again, a beautiful spot. Brings me back to my first city talk, where RPV TV tried to kill me. I was.
He's on a roll because he was rolling in his chair is what he's going to tell you.
Exactly. Unfortunately, we didn't get it on camera, but I ended up sitting on grass similar to this, and the chair dug in as I was a little nervous trying to get ready for my first city talk, and I went over backwards. The look on RPV TV's faces as the mayor's going over backwards,
right,
was just kind of a way to kick off the last year.
Literally, he kicked off, and we almost all fell off our chairs to witness it, and we're thankful that you didn't get hurt. We also happened to be at Terranea Resort, which was a great place to kick off the first show of the year, where we rely so much on Terranea, right,
Terranea has been a great partner with the city this year and in the past, and we're really happy to see Terranea coming back strong after the pandemic. Hospitality was hit very hard during the pandemic, but they're back in full swing. I think their occupancy rates are almost at record highs, and they are a significant contributor to the tax revenue for the city. So a great partner with the city, and we're happy to see them continuing to thrive. Mm-hmm. So after that unfortunate first filming, we went into the year, and unfortunately it kicked off with a major tragedy in January, where firefighter Jonathan Flagler lost his life fighting a house fire here in the city. So that was kind of my introduction in January.
It was a difficult start.
It was.
We were
really
all
hard.
in mourning as a community.
Yeah, it was. It's tragic when we have a fire, and it's even more tragic when we have a loss of life. Certainly our first responders getting in there and really helping our citizens, and unfortunately sometimes things just go sideways. So that was a tough way to start out the year. So we're working with LA County Fire to come up with a appropriate memorial there in the Mariles Plaza, right across from this fire station where he was stationed, and just up the hill from where he grew up. He grew up in off of Western, so it would be a fitting memorial for him. After that, there were some really notable high points also this year. After almost 20 years of trying to figure out what to do with Ladera Linda, we broke ground on the new Ladera Linda Community Park. Really exciting. It is off and running. For those that haven't been down there or looked at the live web feed, The walls are going up, the roof is on, the structural steel is there. Most of the grading has been done for the site, so it's exciting. It's on schedule. Look forward to doing the dedication of that facility later this summer. So I think look forward to July, August for completion of that. We've had some challenges with this with it. Not always were the contractors obeying the local vehicle codes, and sometimes subcontractors would get there early or get there late. So we've been working with our general contractor to really help mitigate the impacts to the neighborhood, taking some of the neighborhood's observations and suggestions to heart and seeing how we can do better. So,
I know right now council's also looking at fencing issues on the border, right? And so stay tuned for that. Well, Ladera Linder, I want to say congratulations to you and the council, because it was decades or more in the making, and to finally have it happen while you've been mayor, and to see it go forward, and overall the community is so excited. It's going to be such an asset. We can't wait for it to finally. You were there for the groundbreaking, and you'll also be on the council for the ribbon cutting one day.
Absolutely.
So that
it's should
happen within a year or so.
Absolutely. It'll be happening late summer, early fall next year. And then we were able to add 96 acres to the nature preserve, bringing it up to 1,500 acres within conservation within the city, which is unheard of for a city our size. So that was really exciting to help push that forward and get that over the goal line and get the acquisition. Truly a win-win-win. It was a federal, state, county, local joint funded project. We worked with the landowner and came up with a very win-win proposition. So that was really exciting to preside over that as well.
RPV TV was there covering the press conference where you saw the federal, the state, and local government leaders come together. And it was so nice. That whole Take a Village motto was right there. You saw it. And the interesting thing about that land acquisition of 96 acres, which is the Plum Tree property.
Plum Tree in Lower Philly.
Yes, off PV Drive South at 96 acres. It's going to be a wildlife corridor, which is to help protect the PV butterfly and all of that. So really unique, and goes to the whole vision of our entire city and city council, which is preserving open space and for all to enjoy in perpetuity.
Absolutely. And then we were able to get a contract signed for Pano AI and the wildfire monitoring camera, which is going to bring another level of safety to Peninsula. We were able to once again work with our state legislators to get some state funding to help. Assemblymember Maritucci was able to help secure a $1.5 million grant for the city. So that will actually pay for the operation of the system, for the installation operation for about the next 5 years. This will provide about 98% coverage for the entire peninsula. All 4 cities on the peninsula will be getting increased security and increased fire awareness from this system. So once again, a truly win-win with the state agencies as well as local agencies and the 4 cities on the peninsula, once again acting as one. So,
and you came together as a community right down the street from where we're sitting here at Del Cerro Park at the Rattlesnake Trailhead trail entrance, where on a very similar day we came out. We thought the sun would be shining, but we had the overcast, so you couldn't really take in the incredible landscape that these cameras will protect from wildfire, and make that announcement of the state-funded camera system. And that will be coming. They're going to start to install those cameras soon.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head the schedule, but we will be first quarter next year. We will be starting that installation and starting that system. So we'll be getting that protection in the near term. Then we were off to the east side of the hill, and beginning of the year, I was able to preside over the signing of a memorandum of understanding with Marymount and St. Leo University. Unfortunately, that did not completely come to fruition for various reasons. That deal fell through, but we recently found out that UCLA, one of our major premier institutions of higher education here in Los Angeles, is going to purchase that property, or is in the process of purchasing that property. So we're going to have a win-win again with the state of California once again coming into the city and helping operate the former Marymount California
Because,
University.
of course, it was a difficult loss for the community to watch Marymount California University close down after all those years. Everybody has so many personal relationships there. I know my own kids went to preschool there, and we all thought what was going to happen.
So we've met with the Chancellor of UCLA and his Director of Real Estate, and talked to the head of their Academic Senate on what they're planning on doing. I know UCLA is trying to come up with the best path forward. We're working with UCLA to make sure that we are good partners with UCLA and have the best environment for both learning as well as the community. So it's another exciting thing that we were able to accomplish this year.
Congratulations on that. Stay tuned.
And then last, and this is more on the celebration, we kicked off the 50th anniversary of Rancho Palos Verdes, which is so exciting. We're doing a major event every month for the year. We kicked it off in September of 2022. It'll culminate in September of 2023 with a gala down at Terranea. Right now, RPV TV is doing Walk About the City.
Yes.
A couple of the gentlemen that are behind the camera right now have been in front of the camera, and they were able to do things that I haven't been able to do, which is actually walk down a path without falling. So kudos to the RPV TV. But yeah, so look forward to different events every month for the next year as we move forward for our 50th anniversary.
Yes. September 7th, 2023 is our 50th anniversary official day. Yep. And as you're mentioning, we kicked off in September with the renaming of the Civic Center after our legendary city founder and council member, Ken Dida. That was an amazing special ceremony that you were leading, and for a figure that you can't even give words to describe all that Ken Dida has meant to our community, and he will be retiring from the council.
So on Tuesday, he will be his last official council meeting. Councilman-elect Paul Seo will be taking Councilman Dida's seat. It'll be very bittersweet, but I think after 49 years of being on and off the city council, as well as 4 to 5 years prior to that, Councilman Dida has well and faithfully served the city. I think it's time for him to take a little bit of a sabbatical and relax a little bit. I can't say how much I appreciate all that Ken Dida has done for our city, from the Save Our Coastline initiative back in the early 70s through his impassioned and perseverance in trying to come up with real physical as well as technically sound solutions for Portuguese Bend. Councilman Dida, if you're out there watching, thank you very much for all that you've done today, in the past, and what you're going to continue to do, because I don't think you're going away.
No.
You are a force of nature, and the city appreciates everything that you've done.
I don't think too many communities can claim a city council member well past 90 years plus. He's unbelievable and has the mind of a teenager practically. When you see him in action, he doesn't forget anything.
He does not forget anything. I only wish I am a shadow of his intellect when I'm at his age.
Yeah. Since we're talking about celebrations that going on in the city throughout, I mean, you're definitely, we had a lot of fun with you as mayor, including, I think you learned a traditional Japanese dance. It was the second anniversary of RPV's sister city partnership with Sakura City, Japan, which probably you are the only council member that can claim you have been visiting there.
Yes.
So that was special.
That was really special. Now, I can't say that I actually learned the dance. I did the dance. I may have looked a little bit like Pee Wee Herman doing the dance, but it was really special. I mean, the relationship that we have with our sister city, Sakura City in Japan, is very special. It started with a relationship with our intermediate school students with Marylest Elementary, or Marylest Intermediate, with an exchange program, and then we further codified that with a sister city arrangement. I have visited. In fact, I'm on my way back to Japan this Sunday. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss the council meeting on Tuesday, but I will be zoomed in from Tokyo.
We will miss you at the City Council reorganization meeting where you'll be getting lots of thank yous, but you'll be there virtually.
Absolutely.
Excellent. We're going to move on and talk about the state of the city, but before we do that, one of the things that you briefly touched on, the many accomplishments of 2022, like Ladera Linda, for example, or the cameras, the wildfire detection cameras, but you were really adamant about revamping the goal process for the city to make it easier, and that is a kudos to you and a list of accomplishments I thought you might want to mention before we talk about the state of the city, because the goal setting process impacts the state of the city.
Absolutely. So one of the things we had, staff was trying to go through the goals, and it was kind of a disjointed process. And at the time, I think we had about 120 individual goals. And kind of in my mind, and what I've seen through my professional career is, if you have 120 goals, you have no goals. Because it's just so much that you can never really get after anything. So we really tried to use some program management and project management tools to look at these goals, try to link them together, try to put them into a waterfall Gantt chart format to allow staff to really get out after the goals and really come up with some real progress. And some of these goals are very aspirational, things that are going to be going on for years, increasing public safety, things like that. But there's a lot of constituent parts to it that we're able to really get after. So in working with staff, we've simplified that process. We've made it a little bit more, what I think, logical, and allow them to take on those challenges and help move things forward.
Okay. Things moving forward. Let's talk about the Civic Center. What's happening? What happened in 2022 in terms of what you were able to accomplish and getting that to move forward?
So in 2022, we renamed it, which was a great start. So it's the Ken Dieta Civic Center, just an ode to one of our founding fathers. And like I said, we owe so much debt of gratitude to Councilman Dieta. But we were able to continue to push forward. So we have a project manager on staff. We have signed a contract for some preliminary architectural designs, and we're really moving forward. We're continuing to work with the U.S. Coast Guard to try to get the deed to the Battery Baker bunker, say that 5 times fast, which is actually landlocked among city land. We believe that the Coast Guard will access that property, but as everything within federal and city government, things sometimes go slower than you'd like. But we want to incorporate that, just that beautiful promontory there, and incorporate that potentially into an emergency operations center or something else that will really help the city in the future.
Excellent. You touch public safety as, one of the goals. When you talk about state of the city, how do you feel about the status of safety here in our community and the amount of resources available to keep our community safe?
So that's a great question, Liz. We can never let off the gas for trying to increase public safety. We continue to work with the LA County Sheriff's Department to provide resources. They've been understaffed. The Lomita Sheriff's Station has been better staffed than many stations from around Los Angeles County, but still they've not been able to provide the number of hours for crime suppression as well as for traffic calming that we would like. So in the new year, we're going to continue to work with the sheriff, and hopefully, with some of the acrimony hopefully behind us between the LA County supervisors as well as the sheriff himself, we'll be able to see some things start to turn the corner and get some more resources to dedicate. The Pano AI system was a great increase to public safety, because public safety is not just law enforcement, but it's also fire suppression and fire control. So we've continued the GOAT program. You've probably seen them out around the peninsula, chomping on grasses and mustard, as well as the Pano AI system, and continuing to try to do some acacia removal, which is a non-native invasive plant species that is very prone to going up like a Roman candle. So we're really trying to eradicate acacia, keep the grasses down, and have as safe a environment as we can.
I want to move on to talk about some of the big projects in the city, like Portuguese Bend. We've talked about Ladera Linda, what you've been able to accomplish. What about what's going on with Portuguese Bend and our infamous landslide?
So Portuguese Bend, we are actively out talking to federal, state, local representatives to look at emergency funding from FEMA through Cal OES and various other funding sources to put a plan in place and fund it to be able to stabilize Portuguese Bend once and for all. It is a potential ecological disaster if the forced sewer mains along PV Drive South were ever to burst. The sand or the roadbed there for PV Drive South is unstable. In fact, I came over it this morning, and once again, more cracks have popped up. So we really need to figure out how to best mitigate that in a fiscally sound manner.
Hopefully, the city will get that $23 million grant.
Yes,
and more. Because it's going to be a very expensive fix.
It is going to be an expensive project. The EIR, the draft EIR, or Environmental Impact Report, is almost complete. It should be out for public comment late this year, knock on wood, or very early in January of 2023. And that'll start the process of us being able to come up with real solutions to address the non-native water intrusion and some of the native water that is in that slip plain below Portuguese Bend in that bentonite layer that is making that entire area unstable. We are getting a lot of great traction with our discussions with Senator Feinstein's office, Senator Ben Allen's office, Assemblymember Meritucci's office, Supervisor Hahn's office, as well as the Los Angeles County Tax Assessor, because of some of the land use and land border issues that have occurred in there. So we're really looking at a multifaceted approach and trying to put together something that we can kick off in 2023 to actually solve the problem.
Well, this is over a half a century old problem, so if this council can pull it off, that's amazing. We know Councilmember Ken Dida, this has been like on the top of his mind since.
He has wanted to solve this for the last 50 years.
Yes.
This, we believe, got kicked off in the late 50s with some dynamiting as we put through Crenshaw, right where we're sitting, just down the street, that started destabilizing of the Portuguese Bend landslide.
And right next to the Portuguese Bend landslide area, of course, is another area that we talked a lot about in 2022, Hatano Farm. The fact that our city is now going to try to get historic designation for that farm. You were very active in this issue when the city needed to terminate a lease that it had for many years with the farmer there named Mr. Martinez.
Yep.
That made headlines in the news, and it seemed to all be resolved. So tell us where we're at with that and what you were able to do regarding the farm in 2022.
So we have applied for historic status with the state of California, and the state of California has come back to us and said that we are in consideration. So there's a package we have to go through, and it's a process. But just being asked to submit is key to being able to get down that path. So we're very hopeful with support from our legislature that we're going to get support for making the Hatano Farm, which is the last operating Japanese American farm in the South Bay, into a historic place. And we hope that we can incorporate a educational component so we can educate our students in the local area of what the life was like for the Japanese American immigrants and farmers here on the peninsula and in the middle of the 21st or 20th century. Very important. Mr. Martinez has moved on, so he is farming a piece of property up in Ventura County. And we wish him absolutely the best, and we're trying to figure out what's the best way of maintaining that farm and preserving it for current and future generations. Okay, well, it all worked out, and for the community, it's just a fabulous trail walk too, just to go and check out the property with a majestic view of the ocean, and also you can even see Terranea. It's really a beautiful spot. Those are some lucky cacti. Yeah. I know. It's an amazing, it's a spectacular view, one after the next, including right here. I think if we get the sun to come out, you'd see right here at Del Cerro Park more beautiful views along our coastline. This particular park and neighborhood is one of the busiest in the city because it's the entrance to the Burma Trailhead in the preserve. Right. And then while we're here, we've got Rattlesnake Trailhead. So there's a lot of activity. People love to come here. And and the city has had to deal with many, many issues to keep the neighborhood happy because of the impacts. Let's talk about all that. What happened this year to work with this neighborhood and access to the preserve and parking for the preserve and all that? So we've implemented a couple different things. One of them is the Park Mobile parking app that is what we're using to try to control parking along Crenshaw here, trying to spread people's usage of the trailhead out so we don't have slugs of people all coming together. Really trying to make the street here at the Upper Crenshaw safe. I mean, towards the end of the pandemic, when we had an order of magnitude more visitors, people were trolling for parking places. They were whipping U-turns. They were double parking. It was really an unsafe environment. Not to mention the noise and the impact to our neighbors here. So we tried to do what we thought would be mitigate as much as possible, still providing access to this wonderful reserve and trailheads to the community, as well as protecting the rights of our residents here. We are doing a survey right now on Park Mobile, on the users, things that they like, things that they don't like.
Which is the online reservation parking system.
Yes, the online reservation. And, we'll see what knobs we can turn to, increase utilization, make things a little easier, while all keeping in mind that we have to protect the neighborhood and we have to make the streets as safe as possible.
I checked in with the Rec and Park staff, and I think they said there's 250,000 visitors in this neighborhood annually. Obviously very much peaking on the weekends, which is where those rangers come in to play that our city employs all over the city to keep people safe. Always during our monthly update, Mayor Bradley, you highlight some of the latest city council action. Just reflecting back during the month of November, one of the issues that came up was vetting a park site, as we see here at this park, for the future Palos Verdes Historical Museum, which used to have a home in Palos Verdes Estates at the old Malaga Cove school site, but it's been without a home for a while. And they have many artifacts to share. Talk about what the council is doing to possibly then house a historic society museum in the future.
So we're trying to look for the right location. So council at our last meeting sent the staff back to look at a couple different options. One of them is down at Point Vicente Interpretive Center. It's kind of up towards the hill, towards PGV Drive South, kind of built into the hill. Other option is up at the new Kendida Civic Center, incorporate the historic center into that new complex. We're trying to find out the right mix of how to build it, but it's very exciting. We do have many artifacts that have been in storage for years. They're in Connex boxes. The Vanderlip Estate has distributed a bunch of their collection all over the peninsula for storage. Antiques from the 19th century, that we would love to display and love for folks to be able to see and understand the history of the peninsula.
And I think after reviewing the sites, the Point Vicente Interpretive Center is the #1 location, as well as looking at the Kendida Civic Center site. So that's what they'll
Those are really the ones that are focused on right now and trying to figure out which is going to be the best.
And staff is planning to come back, I think, in February of next year with some, after analyzing what makes sense.
Right.
And on that note, thinking about next year already, what do you see as the council's priorities in 2023? You've covered a lot of ground this year. We didn't even talk about the housing element that was finalized, for example. That took a lot of time to do that. That's still going to continue to be top of the agenda. What kind of priorities do you see happening next year?
Well, we're continuing to work through the housing element and working with the state on our arena numbers. We're working through beautification project for Western Avenue, economic redevelopment along Western Avenue, working with the city of Los Angeles as well as Caltrans for that corridor. We're also looking at how we can improve public safety because public safety, while we are one of the safest cities in the state of California, you can never stop and you can never let your foot off the gas. So we're really trying to work on that. We're also trying to come up with a long-term solution for Portuguese Bend. Find the funding, find the technical solution, and get after that and help our residents there. So those are really probably the top 3 major issues that we're looking for.
Well, we certainly appreciate you taking the time out every month to update our community on these City Talks. We've hit every neighborhood up possibly, I think, in the city to come out and give the update, and only fell over once. But I think you made a bang in every show. You did a great job for us. Any last mayor's announcements of 2022 to share with the residents of Rancho Palos Verdes and, of course, the entire peninsula?
I just have to say happy holidays. Thank you for your confidence in electing me to 4 more years on the city council. I'm excited to continue to serve. This is a special community that I have grown up in and have lived here since before the city was incorporated. It's great to serve. It's great to having raised my two sons here, living here with my wife. I just want to wish everybody a wonderful holiday season. Be safe out there, and look forward to a great 2023 and our 50th year birthday celebration in September.
We know the party will continue in Rancho Palos Verdes. Thank you for joining us here on RPV City Talk. Again, a big thank you to Mayor Broadley for your service and continued service. And with that, we wish you all a safe and happy holiday season. Thanks for joining us. See you next year.